And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 33 of the Sling'N podcast. I'm TJ.
And I'm Kent.
And joining us tonight is a very special guest, somebody who I have had the pleasure of meeting face-to-face at the last NRA annual meeting. You might recognize him from our recent rendezvous on the Gun Collective's game night over on the TGC Surplus. But Kurt Sills of Blue Alpha Gear is joining us tonight. Kurt, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on. This is exciting.
Absolutely, man. So, real quick, we always like to kind of give our guests an opportunity to introduce themselves and explain to those watching and listening who they are when they're not in the gun industry. So, Kurt, who the hell are you, man?
So I am an average dude in about every single way. My current main passion outside of the guns right now is I just got one of those one wheel things that's like a electronic skateboard type thing, motorized skateboard thing.
The hoverboard thing.
It's kind of like a hoverboard and a skateboard all wrapped into one. So
okay.
that's my current obsession right now. And I'm not good at it, but I really enjoy riding it.
Wait, now when you say not good at it, are you me on ice skates going downhill not good at it?
No, I'm competent. I'm fine on it. Yeah, it's just there's I'm still a little unsure at times, and I still make myself look dumb every once in a while.
If you could picture a bear with feet made of pads of butter, like just flopping all around, falling backwards and shit, that would be me on. That'd be me on one of those things. So
okay, yeah.
If you're doing any better than that, Godspeed to you, sir.
I think maybe a little.
Okay, good.
So, ladies and gentlemen, by all means, please feel free to contribute to us on Subscribestar, and feel free to go purchase swag from our Teespring store so that we can take donations to get Kent one of these uni-wheel skateboards.
Oh, God.
Because
I will.
Reasons.
For the grams, I will absolutely fuck that all up. I promise you. It will be bad.
Well, yeah. So Kent, and Kurt, you're a family man, right?
I am.
All right. So I think there's a certain, dare I say, privilege that comes along with being both a husband and a father that entitles you to act a complete fool and do things that would result in bodily harm and or visits to the ER.
Oh, yeah.
If for no other reason, just to teach your kids what not to do.
Yep. It's important.
I had a long list of stuff I've been teaching him about what not to do. The kid's only 6 months old, and he knows all kinds of things not to do. So we can continue that. But that's cool. So hoverboarding, sewing, shooting, I assume.
Oh, yeah.
I assume
when I get time.
Right?
Yeah. Which never seems to happen much. But I'm actually building a gun range in my backyard, so that's pretty exciting, too.
Ooh,
like
there
that.
You go.
Yeah.
There you go. We're going to put a pin in that. We're going to come back to that gun range part. No, it's kind of like, so I geek out on like construction and engineering and stuff. So it's kind of like whenever you see a guy that has like a really cool garage setup or a really awesome workbench that he put together himself or built himself, you always kind of want to be like, all right, what made you decide on that? So we're going to get some guy time, some mancraft talk on, if you will, a little later. But so those of you that don't know about Blue Alpha Gear, so Blue Alpha Gear is a company that both Kent and I ascribe to. We have several of their products. I've actually got their duty belt hanging up as my war belt setup and range belt setup. I do wear their EDC belts. I know Kent has very similar equipment from them. But these guys are a small American-owned company making some stellar products. I mean, just, dude, hats off to you for knocking those out of the park. So why don't you go ahead and educate our listeners straight from the horse's mouth about your company, about the products you make. And one thing that I'd like you to cover is what got you into this industry to begin with.
Sure. Okay. So let's travel back in time about 4.5, 5 years. I was an aircraft mechanic at Delta Airlines, and my current business partner, Jesse, who owns the other half of Blue Alpha Gear, we were both working together and kind of he's very entrepreneurial. He can't help but like want to start businesses. And, with moderate success sometimes, and other times completely failing, that's part of it. But yeah, we were kind of bored at work, and we decided to start like a little hobby business. And like, to me, it's like, hey, maybe we'll make a little money that like I can buy guns with or buy ammo. Like, if I can just have money for a hobby, that'd be pretty cool. So we were trying. It took us like a kind of a year of like fiddling around with stuff. We sold some holsters for a while, and sold some stuff on Amazon. Like, we were trying to figure out what we were going to do. And then I bought an EDC belt from a major belt manufacturer that's still a popular brand, and came, like a highly recommended brand. And I kind of just like, I was like, this thing seems overpriced. It seems okay. And the most annoying thing was they charged me $13 for shipping, and they shipped it in this huge priority mailbox. And it was like the only option was to get it shipped in priority mail, and they charged me $13, and it was just a loose belt just shoved in a box, and then they shut the box. And it's just rattling around in there. It was like 90% air. And I was complaining about all this to Jesse, and we kind of were like, I wonder if there's room for improvement when it comes to gun belts and concealed carry belts and EDC belts and all that stuff. And so we did a little more research, and we felt pretty confident that there's room for improvement, because it seemed like a lot of the companies, this is about 4 years ago, were kind of half-assing a little bit. Sales were good, and nobody was trying very hard, and a lot of complaints about customer service and sizing issues and stuff like that. But just no one seemed to be trying very hard. And for some of these companies, like, belts was just like a side thing they did. So we wanted to focus on making a really good belt, and we started off making not a really good belt, but we started off making
man's honest.
Yeah. No, like, it took us a little minute. It took us a minute to kind of get going, because we're just two aircraft mechanics who bought a used sewing machine and put it in Jesse's garage, and made some hilariously bad belts, like, to start off. We didn't sell them, but we were like, wow, these suck, but like there's hope. Most of it was just like, trying to get the line straight and stuff like that.
You totally just described our podcast.
Yeah. So, that's how business, like, stuff like this, like starting a belt business, like, there's no college degree for that. You just make it up as you go. And Jesse and I are both college dropouts, so we wouldn't even have that degree. So yeah, we started making belts, and when we were pretty comfortable with how they were turning out, we started selling them, making them really affordable, free shipping, and free sizing exchanges. And we did a bunch of stuff to the design of our belt to solve what we were seeing as like really low-hanging fruit problems. We seeing like sharp edges on some of the cut corners and sizing issues. And so we tried to solve all those basically from the moment we started, and we actually, I think, did solve a lot of them. There's a lot of that stuff that's still what we're doing today, and it's turned out to be like really, really successful for us. So we started making belts in Jesse's garage with one sewing machine back in the spring of 2016, so exactly 4 years ago. This is turning into a long story.
No, it's okay.
And then by that fall, we had kind of an innovative idea, and it was to make what is now our hybrid EDC belt. And it's a mismatched Cobra buckle where one of the female buckle is smaller than the male buckle, and the smaller female buckle will actually fit through your belt loops. And Austria Alpen, who makes the Cobra buckle, didn't really sell those. We kind of had to ask them to sell those, and they're like, well, we'll sell you some, but like, here's the minimum order. And like, at that point, we were like, had just bought our second sewing machine, and we're completely, like, the business was wildly poor. And so we did a Kickstarter, because we were like, all right, we've got an idea. This is a good idea. if we can just raise enough money to buy the initial batch of buckles that we need, then we'll be good. So we set a goal of $10,000 for the Kickstarter, and this was in fall of 2016. We ended up raising $50,000 in that Kickstarter. So
wow.
So 5 times our goal. And the most impressive part was we actually fulfilled all of those orders on time. So that's actually really rare. Most of the time, or a lot of the time on Kickstarter, you don't even get anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do, it's like a year after they tell you you're going to get it. So we actually had them all in mid-spring. They were all shipped and delivered. So that was kind of one of the highlights of Blue Alpha Gear early on, was pulling all that off. And it kind of launched a lot of momentum for us. And in early 2017, we moved into our first shop, which was like 800 square feet. We only lasted 12 months until we moved into our second shop, which was 1,500 square feet. And we only lasted 10 months in there until we had to add an additional space in the same building, another 1,500 square feet. And then again in January of 2018, another 1,500 square feet. So we went from 800 to 5,000 square feet in about a year and a half.
Wow.
And so then that was spring or early 2019 when we had 3 units and we were at 5,000 square feet. And then by mid to late summer, we were already building shopping. and then we bought the building that we just moved into, that I'm sitting in right now. And we moved into this. We had to do a bunch of construction. So we were renting. So this is like now home for us. We bought this building. We spent 5 or 6 months remodeling it to suit our needs. And then we just moved in a month and a half ago, and now it's 12,000 square feet. So
it's like the Bill Gates story without the ending evil Mark of the Beast virus.
Yeah, right.
It's great. It's
and
perfect.
a lot less money.
But you bought a building making belts, bud.
Yeah.
Of all the shit, like you bought, like you have a thriving American manufacturing business.
Yep.
Because you made the best gun belt that I've ever touched.
Well, thank you.
And that's no disrespect, but that's what you do. You make fucking belts.
Yeah.
That's so cool that
I know.
You know.
And Jesse and I like laugh about it once in a while. We're like, we make belts. Like, who would have ever guessed that? Because Jesse and I worked together. We worked together for like 5 years before we even started a business together. So we were going to be mechanics for the rest of our lives. And we're not. We're belt makers. We sew. It's life is weird.
You're businessmen, more importantly, and you have something that will be in your family or whatever, whatever your version of the awesome future is. So that's great. I've got a question from our chat.
Sure.
Hope you don't mind me interrupting, but
go ahead.
Tony would like to know where the shitty belts are now. See?
If you will wait 1 second, I will get you the very first belt that Jesse made.
We will absolutely wait for this. Yeah, so
like the pizza shop with the first $1 bill that's hanging on the wall.
Right.
Yeah, except way crappier looking. All right. So this, now to be fair, this is like a proof of concept. This is Jesse like turning the sewing machine on, putting in the wrong color thread, and like proving the idea that it's possible to sew a belt on this machine. But yeah, here it is. So look at those beautiful straight lines.
That's the best I could ever help to do.
Like, yeah, you're already
you're
already head and shoulders above us. So
So we actually, when we hire new employees and if they're nervous about sewing,
you show them that.
We show them this, and we're like, don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. Look at that beauty.
Oh, wow. Look at that corner. That's great.
I just want to point out, first prototype belt looks like a train wreck still holding together after all these years.
It's definitely plenty strong.
Right.
But I look back at pictures. I was smart enough to take a few pictures in like the first week or two of us making belts, and I was cutting them with like purple kitchen scissors and then using a blowtorch to like torch the ends of the belt to like melt the nylon. And then we had a little tiny belt sander that we would use to finish the ends so that they were nice and smooth and didn't have any sharp corners or pokiness. And then Jesse was over like behind me. This is in like 1/3 of a garage. Jesse's behind me on a sewing machine, sewing the belt towards the wall. Like we weren't even smart enough to realize that like the belt was going into the wall. That doesn't work very well. So we like it took us like 2 weeks to be like, hey, maybe we should turn the sewing machine.
In the meantime, your wives and mothers are just like, oh dear God, we birthed you, we married you.
They were like, oh, you guys spent thousands of dollars to start doing this dumb idea, and we're like, yeah, we're in debt. And literally, we know like it'd be years before we were like, actually taking any sort of. We worked for free for a long time. It was a couple of years before we were even able to take like some scraps.
It's a labor of love, though, too.
Yeah. Well, the business was growing so fast. I mean, this is all, business 101, but this is stuff we learned as we did it, is that if your business grows really fast, you have to reinvest all the money back in, and you get nothing. You get nothing. In fact, you get to stay in debt the whole time you're working for free. But you get the satisfaction of growing a business and seeing like, okay, there's something going on here, and if we hang on to this for a while, like we might get to pay ourselves. So thankfully we've reached that point. Jesse and I quit our day jobs at the beginning of 2019. So about a year, just under a year and a half ago, we quit our day jobs. So
wait. So y'all were wrenching on planes that whole time?
Yeah, we were for 2.5, 3 years. We were
Whoa.
working. Yeah.
We had a business.
Yeah, we had like 15 or 20 employees, maybe even like 25 employees by the time that we like actually quit our day jobs.
So this is the most terribly unknowledgeable airplane joke ever, but like I just picture you like under a 747, like, hey, did I put the oil plug back in there? Hold on, I got an order, blah, 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 blah. Like, oh my God. That must have been something.
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, Jesse ended up actually wrenching on airplanes. I worked on engine parts in like one of the smaller back shops, and yeah, it was interesting doing both. But having families and kids. Our wives thankfully didn't divorce us.
Yep. And
our kids know who we are now, so that's good. But it was pretty crazy there towards the end of having a day job and a bigger than we expected business.
So funny that you talk about these things paying off, because TJ and I are in the throes of things like this ourselves, and our wives are supporting us, and our we both still have our day jobs. What kind of COVID,
Yeah, I know.
But
yeah,
it's a lot to put all your passion and all your energy into a business and not pay yourself. That's that's quite a tough sell to the missus.
Yeah, and it was the reason we had to stay at the day job so long, was there wasn't any leftover money in the business. So
that's incredible. But let this serve as a reminder that the American dream, by God, is still alive and well, and you too can be successful. It's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
You guys often see me post, at least on social media. I always love to throw the hashtag in there, grind it out. You've got to grind it out. It's going to suck. It's going to be uncomfortable, but if you truly believe in it and you want to pursue it, we're guaranteed an equal opportunity, not an equal outcome.
Right.
Your mileage may vary.
Yeah, absolutely. And
it's awesome.
I will. I guess my business speech is basically, when I was kind of under the impression that you needed to start a business, you had to either invent something or have a business degree. And obviously now I know that that's not the case. I'm, like I said, a very average person, below average in plenty of ways, actually. And most of it's actually just common sense. You just need to have common sense, and you need to really be nice to people and follow through on what you want. Like, common sense, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
And then do what you say you're going to do. If you can do all of those things, you're well on your way. I mean, making a good product is important too, but you don't have to be like head and shoulders above everyone else if you just have those other three things, and you'll be fine. I mean, customer service I think customer service was more important for our growth than the products themselves. And that was where a lot of businesses were really being lazy. And I think in a lot of cases, a lot of gun industry companies are still lazy on customer service because the orders keep rolling in. So they're just like, whatever.
Don't get me going on this. This is this is my biggest pet peeve, right? Because it's not hard in my industry. And I won't talk about my day job on here, but you don't survive being an asshole to a customer one time.
Yeah.
Once. One customer, one time, you're done. Mm-hmm. And you deal with some of these companies where they're like, yeah, bro, that's fine. We got a lifetime warranty. Send it back. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, but they just don't care.
Yeah, there's no bedside manner.
No,
and getting at.
Right.
Yeah, and there's no responsibility. I was listening to another podcast here a little bit ago, and a gentleman mentioned that he said, if everybody would just force these companies to fix their bullshit instead of selling it on ARFCOM or wherever, right, and passing it on to the next knucklehead, half these companies would be out of business because they could, they're honoring their lifetime warranties and all that. So, real quick, again, by the way, y'all, we love you. Thank you for an active chat over here. It's great when I don't have to come up with questions because other people ask them for me. So Corey would like to know, start to finish, how long does it take you guys to make a belt?
You know what? That's a great question. It would depend on the belt, and we've kind of divided the process out enough that we're batching certain sections of the belts. And so I don't actually have an answer for you. Would someone who's really good at business know the details of all that? Probably. But we've been just hanging on and trying to survive this whole time. So we haven't really had time to get into the details. It's just like, all right, let's set this up to be as efficient as possible. And I don't know those numbers.
Cool. Well, that's actually, that's a really fair point, right? Like you don't know because you just do it. It's smart to do it in batches, actually.
Right. Well, yeah, we have to. I mean, we have to batch everything. Our level of growth for now has been pretty crazy, and it has been an absolute wild ride. Just trying to keep caught up. We have expanded our production volume so wildly that and yet we're still just chasing the volume of orders. The numbers are kind of crazy right now.
Okay, so with that, let's pull that string a little bit.
Yeah.
As you have expanded into these larger facilities, so 2018 to 2019, what were like the number? What was the volume you were doing between those 2 years? Like, how has the growth been?
I will say that we've basically doubled every year or more since we started.
That's fantastic.
I think we've doubled since last fall.
Wow.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
You'd think you'd run out of because, okay, here's the thing. If y'all don't figure this out by now, I break everything. And their belt still works, right?
Yeah.
So you'd think you'd run out of dudes that need to hold their pants up and keep it going on.
We've said that. My wife actually said that to me, like, within the first year or two. She's like, what happens when you sell a belt to everyone? And I'm like, I don't think you can do that. You think you can, but you can't. There's too many people. And also we get a lot of customers who are like, this belt is so awesome, I'm going to buy one in every color.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we've got, we have other products. We have different types of EDC belts, and we have different types of double belt systems, and they all have their place and purpose. And so people tend to have a collection.
I'm gonna have to expand my collection because I hadn't looked. It's funny because it's like buy belt, check, belt works, right?
Yeah.
And then
that's fine.
Yeah, but
you don't need to expand it. I mean, I basically wear one belt, right. And usually it's because I'm like doing R&D on like the next thing, so I have to like condense it all into just like I'm trying to add as much wear and tear to one belt as possible, but I'm kind of like, I could be fine with just one belt. This belt works great, and I'm okay if people are that way too. What's helped us a ton is word of mouth has basically been the main tool for marketing. You provide good product, good customer service, and then the customers will end up doing a lot of your sales and marketing for you because they're telling their friends, they're showing it off. And
well, not for nothing, but you've made some great relationships in the industry too, right? You've got some amazing instructors and some really good people out there repping your stuff, so that doesn't hurt.
Yeah, and like a lot of those guys are friends, and it's kind of nice that we haven't had to twist anyone's arm at all. If they discover us, and I'll build a relationship with them, and we'll try to work together in a way that benefits everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's funny. So while we're on the lessons in business, and we do still have some more questions coming in from chat, so we'll curate those in a moment. But speaking to the lessons in business that you've learned, more specifically the one of don't be a dick, and to your point on word of mouth marketing strategies, I have always been told that if you upset one customer, they will tell 20 of their friends. If you have to please 20 customers for any of them to tell one person.
Yeah, I think that there's some truth to that. I will say that anyone who says the customer is always right that's actually not true.
No, that's absolutely not true.
Customers can be pretty definitively wrong on a lot of things, and we like to try to steer them towards the answers they need. And so I will talk about unhappy customers though. So based on the amount of things you sell, you end up with unhappy customers at some point. Sometimes we'll ship the wrong belt to somebody. Sometimes some fluke thing will happen, and some crazy thing happens with a belt, and we always we'll take care of it if it's obvious that we did something wrong. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that we'll make it right. But sometimes people are just having a bad day, and they end up kind of flying off the handle a little bit or something like that. My strategy with that is I always call them on the phone because we have their phone number, and they don't see that coming.
Mm-hmm.
So when they answer the phone and like they'll just send an email, like angry email, like they're just so mad at us for something, and they answer the phone and they're like, "Hey, this is Kurt. I'm the owner of Blue Alpha Gear. I just wanted to apologize for the situation and kind of explain what happened." And those people usually end up being some of our biggest advocates on the other side of that, because and a lot of it is I think some people become accustomed to like yelling at a business, forgetting that businesses are made up of people, and suddenly when they get a phone call from a person, they're like, oh, this is a human. Hey, well, it's not that bad, and suddenly their tune changes a little bit. So I actually get a kick out of calling angry customers and like being so nice to them that they just like end up feeling bad.
I'm really sorry for me being a dick.
And then they end up, we just like, all right, well, we'll make this right, and they're usually just like they're really thrilled, and those people end up being great advocates for us. But yeah, some people sometimes they just have a bad day at the same time that we screwed something up, and because it's inevitable. We're not perfect, but we always try to make it right. That's our job. That's our obligation as a business, is to make it right.
Well, I just cannot imagine. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on you, TJ.
No, you're good.
Imagine right now, so all of us overprivileged, over fucking happy Americans are learning a lesson in the way the rest of the world works right now, with like our grocery stores are full and our, we can't get what we want. We can't go where we want. Freedoms are being infringed and all this stuff. Imagine your worst possible problem that you have for that day is your belt was wrong. Right? And you get up and you're just like, we took my belt. God damn it, I'm going to get on there and email that guy. Man, oh man.
It happens.
I know.
Hashtag
crazy.
First world problems, bro.
Yeah.
That's
just
crazy.
the way it goes. So we are getting some more questions in chat. So I want to start with Tony's first. So he asked, how do you test the belts? Is there a testing process for each one?
So generally it's Jesse and I testing. We do a lot of long-term testing ourselves, and then we have some people that we trust really well to do testing as well. So people like John Dufresne from Kinetic Consulting. He's kind of one of our main R&D guys because he's just always he's always game to test whatever we send him, and he's always full of ideas, but he's also not afraid to tell us if there needs to be something changed. He's like the ideal R&D guy. Really, really well-respected person who is super smart. So we'll have him test stuff. I have a lot of other friends who will test stuff, industry friends, people I trust. Sometimes I have local friends that do testing for us just because it's like, hey, wear that and then bring it in to me and like show it to me and let me know if, you know, how, like, because sometimes just having someone who's local helps a lot. So there's no real like defined process. With everything in our business, we just make it up as we go. But once we feel like we're comfortable with something, we consider it tested, and that's really all you can do, and then just make it. So
Right. So with that, and this brings us into our next topic. So our friend Corey Byers is in the chat and watching as he religiously does. And Corey, we love you, buddy, and we're glad you're here. So with the new building and warehouse and the current situation with COVID-19, I'm assuming is what he's referring to. While making belts, do you have a place where you are just making masks? So he's asking about your Operation Face Mask. So before you answer that question in detail, why don't you take some time and explain to the folks at home listening what you guys are doing to answer the call with COVID-19?
Okay, so we about a month ago launched something called Operation Face Mask. It's kind of it was a way for us and some of our industry friends who also have sewing machines to get together and try to make face masks and take advantage of the equipment that we have to try and meet the needs that we were seeing. So we launched a GoFundMe, and the GoFundMe is just where we're basically offsetting some of the costs for making masks. And our goal has just been to make as many masks as quickly as we can, as cheaply as we can too, so that every dollar donated is going as far as possible. So we're trying to find efficiency as well. So it took us a week or two to kind of fully develop the design as to the point where it's at now. And I have to get a new updated count, but I think we're probably somewhere around 4,000 masks between us and I know. So Dustin from Coltac, they're another soft goods company up in New Hampshire. They're like really good industry friends of ours. I know our count because we've been working with them on shipping and fulfilling orders and stuff like that. I think between the two of us, we're somewhere around 4,000, maybe as high as 5,000. I don't know. But yeah, we're trying to hustle masks out as fast as we can. And to answer the question from Corey, so we started off making, we had like 4 or 5 employees on mask making, and like we had them in a little mask making section. And what ended up happening is a lot of the local community found out about it, and they started coming to us saying like, hey, I would like to make masks as well, but we can't get supplies. So what had happened is a lot of the materials to make masks, specifically like elastic for the headband part, and sometimes the material itself, they were struggling to get those materials. So we still have mask making happening in-house, but we ended up moving most of it to local volunteers, and we are supplying them with all of the materials pre-cut in kits, and using our design that we came up with. And that way we can make more masks with the same amount of money, and we can make them faster as well. So there's still in-house mask making happening, but most of it's just like cutting and preparing these kits, and then receiving the kits, processing all of the requests for masks, and then shipping those masks out to the people that need them.
That's fantastic. So I'm curious about the masks that you are making. So how are you guys constructing these? Are you guys making them out of a material that is certainly I struggle to use the terms, but good enough to
Yeah.
protect against, the airborne pathogens and stuff? Or are you guys using it to where it takes like a filter type insert? Because I've seen two different styles being made.
So ours has a pocket inside of it. It's 2 layers of 100% cotton, and this is what is easily or readily available. Is 100% cotton is still readily available. The mask uses 2 layers. There's a pocket on the inside of the mask where you can put material like a filter media in. You can also wear it over like an N95 mask to extend the life of that mask, or just as a last resort, or on infected patients. They can wear them as well to kind of hold in, like if they're coughing
Right.
in the room, that's going to hold in a lot more of that cough if they're wearing them than if they're not. So they're being made along with CDC guidelines as a last resort emergency style mask. And we have had thousands and thousands of requests for these from frontline workers who need them. So obviously there's something to these. The demand is there. So we're going to keep supplying them as long as the demand is there. I think we're over the halfway point. I think that the supply is going to slowly start to meet the demand pretty soon here, and we'll be able to kind of get back to normal life as far as emergency masks. There'll be better options available. I cannot wait for there to be better options available. I cannot wait for the market to catch up. I hope that happens. I want them to have the best masks they can get. But if our masks are the best masks, we're going to keep sending them.
No, that's awesome. I've certainly seen some of the pictures of the end result that you guys have been posting. They look fantastic, very professionally done, very well done. You guys are certainly carrying your quality that you put into all the other stuff that you make into these masks. So this is not some haphazard operation. And I do want to mention to everybody that Blue Alpha Gear does have a GoFundMe going for Operation Face Mask. I do have a link in the description down below, or you can go to GoFundMe.com and search out Operation Face Mask to find out more, to donate there.
Yep. And just to be clear on that, the money from that fundraiser is going to pay for materials, almost entirely materials, and then also shipping. And any leftover money is going to get donated to an appropriate nonprofit organization. So
outstanding.
So real quick on this, if somebody, let's say a firearms trainer in Pennsylvania, wanted to get a hold of a bunch of these masks and donate them to his local law enforcement agency, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, cough, cough, where should such a person go? How are you taking mask inquiries?
So anyone who would like to request masks, we're mainly serving frontline high-risk jobs like EMS, fire, police, and obviously medical professionals. But there's an email. It is masks@bluealphagear.com. They can send an email with the details of their needs, and we will process those needs into an order and do our best to fulfill as quickly as we can. And everything is being donated. No masks are being sold anywhere whatsoever.
Cool. But a company, let's just say, could make a donation and then ask for some masks to get sent out and then go hand them out.
Anyone is welcome to make a donation if they want to. But we are prioritizing frontline employees. So
I'm just prodding
a donation is not going to guarantee you any masks. I will tell you that.
No, dude, that's good. No, that's actually great. I was thinking of. I was having a conversation with a law enforcement officer today, and they're having trouble with getting masks, and I'm like, that's fucking.
No, we are definitely giving masks to cops.
Yeah.
So our local sheriff's department, our local law enforcement, our local fire, our local EMS, our local cancer treatment center, they've all gotten masks from us, and then we've also been shipping all over the country.
That's awesome, man. This is one of those. This situation has given. My God, the stuff. You can either choose to see the positives in this or choose to see the negatives, right? Like you can go argue on the internet about statistics and bitch at each other, or you can look at all the people that have stepped up to do all the things. And I choose to look at the latter, and it's really awesome that you guys are donating time and effort and energy and expertise, and hats off to you, man. That's cool shit.
Thank you. Yeah, Jesse and I like to take every opportunity we can to use what we have to kind of do something good, because it's, money is a means to an end. It's not the end. There's more to life than that. And I think if a lot of businesses would feel that way, it would make the world a pretty good place, because businesses actually have a lot of power to make the world a better place if they are willing to do that.
Absolutely. That's really, really cool stuff. It's timely that we're on here and we're talking about this, because I'm just so sick of seeing people argue about whether the shutdown should happen or the shutdown shouldn't happen, or who should reopen what beach, or who should do this, or who. I don't know, man. We're all just trying to be here for each other, and at the end of the day, I'm proud to be, a tangential part of an industry that does good like this occasionally. It's nice to see. So cool. Why don't we switch away from the depressing, sad, terrible COVID shit, and let's talk about your product line a little bit, because you had made the point earlier that, there's more than just the belt, right? Mm-hmm. So the way I see it, you make EDC belts, you make hybrid EDC belts, and then you make battle, war, cop, duty, awesome belts. Does that about sum it up?
Yeah. You got the normal guy everyday belt, and then you've got the tactical bat belt set up that you want to have all your gadgets on there. We make that as well. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Come on, man, you gotta.
Yeah.
I will say this. I really wish you guys were around back in 03, 04, and 06, 07, and up to 2015 when I was still deploying, because damn it, I really wish I would have had some of this equipment back in those days.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many belts I've gone through. Oh dear God. So I'm not just saying this to blow smoke up Kurt's ass here. Like, I have been really hard on a lot of equipment that I've either been issued or purchased myself. And even though I'm not deploying anymore and I'm not living that life anymore, I'm still really hard on the stuff that I own.
Mm-hmm.
If it can survive the 250-pound ginger gorilla, it's pretty well built equipment. And this is I'm wearing the EDC belt now, and of course I've got the the war belt set up going on behind me. But dude, I literally wear this belt every day. At least those that I'm not in the office where I have to have my shirt tucked in, because multicam does not go well with black dress shoes. I wish it did, but it doesn't. But yeah, it's just fantastic equipment. Now I would not have had Kurt on here or even mentioned it to Kent if we didn't believe in their product line. So it's
kind of funny how that works. It's like, hey, that guy that makes those Blue Alpha gear? Yeah, Blue Alpha gear. That shit's awesome. Yeah. It's kind of funny how that, everybody you talk to that knows anything knows that these belts are good shit.
Yeah.
Oh, and they don't cost your firstborn.
Yeah, we try to provide a good value. So one of the things we do, and I have to tell people this a lot, is that we don't really do sales or discounts. It's kind of this is the price it is, mm-hmm. but it's a very fair price, and you don't have to worry about waiting for it to go on sale. To me, that's kind of a frustrating experience. I should wait for this to go on sale. Mm-hmm. You don't have to wait. You could buy one. In fact, if you were trying to decide whether to buy 2 belts or just 1 belt, because we have free shipping, you can buy just the 1 belt and then get the second belt later, and you don't have to worry about combining them to save on shipping. So we try to do a lot of stuff to make it you know what? Just buy the belt. We have free sizing exchanges. If the belt is the wrong size, we will exchange it for free. And here's the way that works. If you get a belt from us, it doesn't fit, you go onto our website, fill out a quick full form with the new size, and we will have an order started the next day. And then within 2 or 3 days, we ship out a new belt to you in the new size, and it comes in a package with a pre-labeled return mailer in it for the original belt. So you can actually, at your mailbox, open the package, take the new belt out, take the pre-labeled return mailer back out, put your old belt into the pre-labeled return mailer, seal it up, put it back in the mailbox, do the whole exchange at your mailbox, and you don't have to wait to ship it back before we ship you a new belt. So try to make it like as customer friendly as possible.
So, wait a second here. Are you only rewarding people like me who have lost weight? Is there a fat man penalty? Because there should be. That would help me actually.
It's the free sizing exchanges is for new belts for the first 30 days. However, we have a belt resizing service that is for any time after that, where you send us the belt, and then we will send you an invoice for the cost to rebuild the belt. And what we'll do is we'll take the original buckle, and we'll sew completely new webbing onto the original buckle. So it's essentially a brand new belt except for the buckle, and we do that at like a heavily discounted price. And then we pay for shipping back to you.
That makes way more sense, bud, because you could be getting freaking Easter, rest of the year, Christmas, I mean, you could be seeing me fluctuate anywhere in between that. There'd be a lot of shipping labels involved in this whole.
Yeah.
No, good. That's really cool.
It's usually I usually remind everyone of our belt resizing service between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Whenever
that's what I'm saying, man.
At their maximum weight.
I should really, being that they're so reasonable and free shipping and all that, I should just buy a belt for each quarter.
There you go.
As a summer belt.
The seasonal thing. Yeah. I can take it. But see, I tell everybody that I buy my belts a size larger to accommodate for my inside the waistband rig. And damn it, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But yeah, so just because I want to give everybody the opportunity here to know. So I'm quoting this off of your website right now. So as of today, April 21st, 2020, so I have the low profile inner EDC belt. So I have mine with the fuzzy Velcro or the loop tape on the outside of it to accommodate for the war belt. So that as of right now on their website is listed at $44.97.
Yep. And the regular EDC belt version is $34.97, right?
Yes,
which
exactly.
Is just the one without the Velcro around the outside.
Exactly. And so the Molly 1 3/4 inch double belt rig, it ranges from $134.97 to $156.97. I'm assuming that is going to depend on the material. So what pattern, size, and buckle type.
It's buckle type, whether you get molly loops on the outside, and then what type of inner belt. There's two inner belt options. So
there you go.
Yep. So
guys.
Again, free shipping on everything.
Yeah. So you guys will see belts. I'm using the term loosely, but similar. So I say similar because of duty belt, EDC belt that are easily from a duty belt perspective, $50 to $60 more for not nearly the quality that I've seen, and I know because I've worn them. And
and so
I'll be real with you, Kurt. What if anything kind of gave me pause, because I was used to spending so much money on equipment, and then I see how the prices that you guys are marked at, and I'm like, there's no way this is. Yeah. There's no way.
So I'll try it. we have a little trick to have our low prices, and it's that we are the manufacturer, and a lot of these companies that make belts actually don't make belts. They are they have a sewing contractor that makes the belts for them, and they're the middleman for the belts. So we make all the belts in-house. I'm in my office right now, and as we speak right now, like 40 feet from me, there's people making belts on sewing machines. Making them in-house saves us a lot. We're not the middleman. There's not that upcharge isn't there, and we can pass that on to the customer. We also control in pretty significant ways our supply chain. So we buy almost everything direct from the manufacturer, and that helps keep costs down as well. So we've done everything we can to try and keep the cost down and like free shipping. So when a company does free shipping, it incentivizes us to make sure that the shipping cost is efficient. So going back to the very first EDC belt I bought, where I paid $14 for shipping for a belt, the reason is because they had no incentive to actually have low ship. They just picked probably whatever was most convenient or whatever, who knows. So because we have free shipping, it incentivizes us to keep the cost low, because that means that the prices are low, and which means we can sell more belts. But it also helps us find other ways to like be efficient with shipping, and that ends up saving the customer money as well. So there's really there's some benefits there that we've been able to build in for the customer.
Nice. I like it. So let's see here. Tim Kelly from Apache Solutions, who just sold out his vehicle combatives course with Dave Spalding while I was on the podcast, so I don't get to go now. He says that he repped one of your low-profile EDC belts in a class, and his students really dug it. So that's cool.
Cool. Well, thank you.
Yeah, we like
I
that.
appreciate that.
Yeah. So I was gonna ask. I mean,
Kent, we're starting to get the robot voice from you.
Oh no.
So, Stan, while Kent is doing that, I want to go ahead and jump in here. So the question that I had for you, Kurt, was so we understand you don't do a whole lot of the discount codes or anything like that, but there are several reputable instructors and professional shooters, even social media influencers that do rep and wear your equipment without cheapening the experience and calling it a sponsorship. One of the things that I would like to kind of get from you, if for nothing else, to kind of help maybe those younger shooters or newer shooters out there that are trying to take this seriously and get those sponsorships, is what advice do you have for either somebody that might be looking to become a sponsored shooter for either Blue Alpha gear, or kind of having that inside information as a manufacturer and a contributor to the firearms industry? Do you have for people that are looking to get sponsored? What are some of the qualities you look for in a shooter? Is it all skill level? What can you tell us about that?
Well, I mean, to be honest, so we actually don't sponsor anyone. Anyone who reps our stuff does it on, I guess, by their own choice. Some of the benefits, so some of the major instructors that rep our stuff, I will throw in, and this is just something I offered, they never asked for, but I'll throw in prize belts for when they do classes, because we like to incentivize training, and we like to reward people who go and get training. So that's something that those instructors can use to reward people for showing up. And so if they have a little competition in the class to do something, whoever does the best can win a belt. That's something we're trying to, we're dabbling in. But I mean, for someone who wants, for a sponsored shooter to get, or someone who wants to be a sponsored shooter, I think a lot of it is it's just how you represent yourself in social media, which is really the only place that people will see you other than the actual competitions or whatever. It's gonna come down to how you represent yourself. And if I was searching for someone, it would kind of go back to the rule of don't be a dick right away. I'm not gonna choose someone who has behavior issues or anything like that. So I know that's not a full ton of advice, but that's kind of what I would be looking for, is just their attitude, how they carry themselves, and their behavior on social media.
No, but here's the thing. That's a fantastic answer.
Okay.
And here's why I say that, because up and coming in my shooting career and trying to pursue, I hate to say the term professional, yay mediocrity, but an up and coming shooter that is trying to get into the sport of shooting or being an instructor or anything like that, sponsorships really do help out that hobby, right? Just like you were saying, if I can get something that helps fund or pay for my hobby, and it's a zero cost to me or a minimal cost to me, then the longer I get to do it. And one of the things that I consider myself lucky in, and I know Kent probably shares this as well, is us having the access to guys like you and other folks inside the industry allows us to kind of ask those questions that those newer folks in the shooting industry might not know how to ask.
Right.
So one of the things that that I really liked about your answer is I hear the same answer from just about everyone I talk to. So to summarize, no, you do not necessarily have to win every Grand Poobah National Super Match champion and be drinking from a golden throne on top of Mount Olympus with, from the skulls of your enemies, right? It comes down to how you represent yourself and being a good representative to that brand as well. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Kurt, I think your answer was perfect, man. Okay. Thank you for confirming the other hypotheses.
Yeah. Sure.
The other input I've gotten.
Be a murder of hypotheses.
Sure, yeah. We'll go with that. Okay. I'm sure there's an apostrophe in there somewhere. I don't know.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Yeah. So go ahead with your question, Kent.
I just want to know when the Blue Alpha Gear line of slings and other stuff that isn't out yet is coming. You're not going to tell us, are you?
Literally, it's not going to happen.
No, never.
Good for you. No. Well, I mean, so we've for 3 years now, we've been trying to add product diversity, and we can barely do that even with belts because the demand for our belts has jumped so significantly for us that all of our growth is through volume, not through product diversity. So I have really cool, fun, awesome business ideas. Jesse and I have penciled them out, and we've got the whole thing written out. Some of them are 2 years old, and they're slam dunks, but we can't do them because business is so far, knock on wood, right? But business has been really good for us. So unfortunately, the downside to that is that all the fun things that we want to do, we just can't do. And someday that'll probably change, but for the foreseeable future, we're just riding the roller coaster.
That's such an awesome problem to have, isn't it?
It is an awesome problem to have. It's still technically a problem.
How dare you be so good at your work?
I'm not going to take all the credit or even most of the credit. It's we have just been very fortunate, and I don't know, things have gone our way. So
yeah, well, Jesse's not here right now, so we're going to give you the
credit. We have yet to screw it up. That is as much credit as I'll give ourselves.
That's about the size of it, right? So.
Yeah. Can I, real quick?
Sure.
I want to. So I see one of Corey's questions. Can I answer one of Corey's questions?
Please, man.
Yeah, by all means.
Okay, so he says, Kurt, personal question for you: are you and the employees taking time for self-care with all the amazing hard work you are doing? Well, thank you for saying that our hard work is amazing. I think it's all right. But yeah, I wanted to answer that because it's kind of funny. So in the past few weeks, with all of the stuff going on in the world and our employees coming into work, because there's a lot of important things we're doing, making masks and equipment for law enforcement, military and stuff like that. That stuff's in high demand right now. But we're kind of like everyone's either at home or at work and kind of shut in. So our managers, who are smarter than Jesse and I, decided to have some fun days here at the shop. So we actually we had a bingo day. We played bingo. That was fun. So just all the employees and us playing bingo. We had a Bob Ross painting day. And so we all watched. So
that's a beautiful idea.
I know, right?
TJ, I demand a Bob Ross painting day.
So yeah, we took like an hour out of our day. Everyone gathered around a TV, and we all got our little watercolors out, and we all painted mountains with happy little trees on them, and like laughed and had a fun time. And what else did we do? We had like a dress crazy day. Drawing a
right now in the Blue Alpha Gear break.
Oh, we did an Easter egg hunt, and we had all the kids hid the eggs, so it was a reverse Easter egg hunt, and then the adults had to go find the Easter eggs throughout the shop. So the answer to that is yes, we are being silly around the shop here and having a fun time. We've got awesome employees and we've got awesome managers, and it makes it fun to come into work. We try to make it fun for them. And Bob Ross Day was my favorite, and I think after this is all said and done, I kind of want to continue that as a tradition.
I just can't even imagine. So somewhere in the Blue Alpha Gear break room right now, there's a refrigerator with all the Bob Ross paintings hanging up.
Right at the outside of my office, there's 2 huge corkboards with all of our mountain sunset pictures on them for everyone to enjoy.
And there's some dude or girl that works over there that's awesome at making belts, but's terrible at painting, and came up to you and was like,
"That's Jesse."
Jesse's like, "Will you put this on the fridge? What, Daddy? What do you think?" You're like, "It's good, son."
Jesse got distracted and started painting the Eye of Sauron in his from Lord of the Rings.
Oh my God, that's
so. Yes, I wanted to answer Corey's question. Yes, and it's a good question, and it's I think an important thing that a lot of people are kind of having to learn about is that it's you got to feel human, and the world can in times like this it can be extra difficult to feel human at times, so you gotta search for it. You gotta make it happen.
That's really awesome. So I was gonna actually ask you something similar, which is, does anybody in your organization ever get time to shoot?
So yes, I'm probably the big gun nerd in the organization. I'm the reason that we started a business in the gun industry. And yes, in fact, I went shooting with my dentist last week, and he's a dentist, and they're not working right now, so he's got some time to kill. And I wanted to again give him some human interaction, so we stood out in the woods together and shot guns. And so I'm working and building a gun range in my backyard is part of the plan to actually pursue shooting more.
Did you see TJ's just light up right there?
And we come full circle. I love it when a plan comes together.
Yeah.
So Kurt, tell us about the Kurt Sills Blue Alpha Gear range in your backyard. What's the design you got going on? What you're running for targets?
Okay.
And while we're at it, let's talk about your favorite gun while you're out there.
So let me tell you that it is not impressive right now, but in my head, my dreams are very big. So right now, I've got behind my house, the range itself is probably like 130 yards, and it is hand cut through some pretty dense woods. So I've spent the past couple of years basically working my way slowly out into the woods in my free time when I'm not doing work or kid related things. It was kind of my peaceful time to be a man, be a lumberjack out in the woods, and cut some trees down, and most of all the small trees, the scrubby things that were growing up. And so I cut a little over 100 yards through the woods, and it's 10 to 12 feet wide, so it's kind of like a bowling alley. But at the end of it, eventually, it's not done yet, but it's going to get wide. It's going to kind of bell out at the end, and kind of be its own little pistol range, but then have a long, skinny area that's like the rifle range. And right now, I'm using TA targets. I have their ADAP, the ADAP with the hostage thing, and I'm gonna buy a mini ADAP probably in the next week or two, and kind of slowly, every few months, just add a steel target, and work on improving my berm. So really, the next step now that I hand cut everything is I have to bring a tracked skid steer in and just level it all out and cut out all the little tiny stumps that are just going to be a nightmare to remove by hand, and then build the berm up a little more in the back. So and then make it so that I have more of a wide pistol area, because I'd like to be able to shoot left and right out on the the 30 yards and in range. So
right, you want to get your transitions going.
Yeah, and I left in a lot of the big pine trees, and I'm using those because a flat range with no structure or obstacle in it seems less useful, less realistic, and less exciting. So I'm leaving big pine trees in as things that are just there that I have to use to shoot around and use
nature's barriers.
That's right. I mean,
I like it.
The Boogaloo might have a lot of pine trees in it.
Anybody who's a fan of the original Red Dawn would agree with you.
Yeah.
But
I'm very excited about it.
There is only one Red Dawn, by the
way. That's true.
There is only one.
To answer your question of what is my favorite gun to shoot out there, it is my bolt action 22 suppressed. And that's kind of my favorite gun to shoot anywhere. But so my driveway, I can lay on my driveway and just shoot down the length of the range. And I have a Savage FVSR that I put into like a full wood, I think Boyd's stock. And then I have a Primary Arms, like 14 to 20 something scope. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's one of the nicer like first focal plane scopes.
Yeah.
And so it has like a really nice stock and a really nice scope on it and a 22 suppressor and a bipod. And I mean, dang it, that's like the most fun gun I own. It's just so fun to shoot. It is just it's so peaceful and quiet, no hearing protection, and just to be able to hear that thing ring steel and just lobbing in those subsonic shots and ring and steel. I mean, it might be the most like satisfying firearms related thing that any human can do.
Yeah. So shooting 22 at 100 yards with a high powered scope like that, so 14 and above, you talk about looking at the bullet trace. No, man, you're watching the bullets.
Yeah.
You're not looking for
If you shoot through sunlight. Yeah. If you shoot through some sunlight, you can watch that thing. Yeah. And it's a lob shot. It's like it's like throwing a rock.
Yeah, that's always fun. My buddies for years have been trying to get me into the NRL 22 league. And sadly I just don't have the time for all that, but it's training for it is just as fun. I will say this. Yeah. So question from our friend Tim Kelly at Apache Solutions is, quote, Bob Ross, end quote, a coupon code by chance, asking for a friend.
He's welcome to try it. It might work. I don't know.
Welcome to try. Maybe coin flip, Tim.
If it doesn't work, you just buy the belt anyways, I guess.
Use coupon code Bob Ross to pay 15% more at bluealphagear.com.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, that would be so cruel but funny.
You should do. Actually, would you please do that and we'll promote it? That'd be great.
Yeah, I can do that.
That'd be hilarious. So let's see what else. What is your favorite holster and why is it a Filster Floodlight?
Ooh, so I don't have one, but they are like top. I have some holsters. Like I have a lot of industry friends that are holster manufacturers. I mean,
right.
Holsters and belts are like peanut butter and jelly, right?
Right.
So I have a ton of holster companies that I'm friends with, and Filster is like they make awesome stuff. They make awesome stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, what is it, John?
John Hotman, yeah.
Yeah, John. Very, very, very smart dude who absolutely knows the ins and outs of like concealed carry. Super smart dude.
Also, I just saw that Spencer over at Keeper's Concealment just came out with a new line of I forget what he's calling it now, but he just came out with a couple new holsters for like the G48s and the stuff that dudes are doing with holsters now is incredible as far as like where it's come over the last 5 years. And
I mean, and it's been kind of a saturated market, and you kind of have to innovate if you want to stand out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So since you don't have a floodlight, what are you running?
So right now it is a A&R design. Alex and A&R design. What is I can't think of the name of the holster model, but it's Glock 19 and with the extra spare mag on it. And I also have one from CJP Custom Concealment, and they make great stuff. He's another industry friend of mine. And then LAS Concealment, those are great guys as well. Also industry friends of mine, but not just like friends, like they really make really good holsters. So those are some of my go-tos that I use for various things. I have LAS Concealment is who I'm currently using for outside the waistband, or for like my belt rig. So
yeah, I'm checking their website out now. That's actually some good looking equipment right there.
Yeah, they make some sexy stuff. A&R Design makes awesome stuff too. I love all those guys. It's hard to pick a favorite. A lot of good stuff out there.
So that leads me to my next question. So while we're on the topic of holsters, one of the things that I've noticed about people in the holster making industry is that while we could easily consider them all rivals or competition, competitors with each other, they never hesitate to help one another out. Be it a tip or lesson learned. Hey, dude, have you tried this? I saw you were having trouble getting this to form right. Et cetera, et cetera. So I'm curious, in the few years that you guys have been starting up, what was one company that really kind of helped you guys out to get over some of those learning curves or hurdles that you might have encountered?
100% Coltac. Dustin Coleman from Coltac. Once we became friends with him, it was like weekly phone calls, and we helped him with tons of stuff. He helped us with tons of stuff. Like, there's so much about what we're doing right now that he played a role in helping us develop that stuff, and just being like, there's so many ideas he had, and helping to find suppliers, down to just like, what size needles to use to do certain jobs in your, for sewing machines. Like, really, like, and then just like big grand business ideas too. Awesome dude. One of our absolute best friends in the industry. Coltac they're just awesome. They're really, really good people.
They have to be. They're from New Hampshire.
Yeah, right?
Green Mountain Defense is called Green Mountain Defense for a reason. I lived in Vermont forever.
Yeah.
I love it up there.
Yeah. I need to go visit Dustin really bad. I need to get up there.
Well, the thing is nobody in New England can be an asshole because there's only like 6 of them. It's you can't be a dickhead when like all your neighbors know everybody. It just doesn't work that way.
Yep.
So let's see what else. So are you like rocking the handgun scene? Are you out training and competing? Or have you gotten fun?
No, I am barely adequate when it comes to actually shooting. I've spent basically, I started in 2015. I started a business and started having kids. The past 5 years, those have been the 2 priorities for me. Shooting so I would shoot often enough where it would just be like, all right, I need to make sure this is sighted in, and make sure that like I still know how to use all this stuff. And I'm finally getting to the point where it's like, hey, I actually have time to shoot. So I'm getting better at that. I'm competent, but I'm not good. I'm pretty terrible at shooting handguns, but I'm pretty hard on myself too.
Right.
Yeah, shooting, like handgun shooting it deteriorates. That skill deteriorates so quickly if you're not doing it frequently.
Yep.
It's really a lot like golf, where there's like a million things to remember while you're doing it, and you'll focus on one of them and forget all the rest of them, and be mad at yourself, and then you'll chip shot one off, where off to the side of the target, just like in golf, you'd put one in the sand trap, and you get mad at yourself, and then but you had fun, you'll go do it another time. So I need to practice more.
Couldn't say it better myself. So my preloaded, like, what's your favorite class, or who's your favorite instructor, or whatever. You haven't got out on the scene, or have you?
Oh no, yes, I have.
Great.
So, yeah, getting instruction is one of the things I still have for the most part done pretty well. Well, I've done okay with. My expectations are much higher than I've achieved. But so most recently, I did a 2-day pistol class with John Lovell of Warrior Pose Society. Those guys are all really, really close industry friends of ours as well. We actually are basically business partners with them in a lot of ways. They sell our stuff, and we do a lot of order fulfillment for them. And we've co-designed products together. But John Lovell, great guy, great firearms instructor. I would highly recommend his classes. And then Aaron Cowan of Sage Dynamics. He's one of my favorite instructors. I have so much respect for that guy and what he does, and he's definitely one of the guys I'm most interested in. So I've taken classes from him and intend to do more. And then as I mentioned earlier, John Dufresne, he is Kinetic Consulting is his company.
Yep.
I'm probably going to take a class from him later this year if the world goes back to normal. but I've been friends with him for a long time, and he also is an instructor for Sage Dynamics.
Yeah, he teaches for Aaron too, right?
Yeah, he does Sage classes as well. And then I am scheduled. I haven't taken a class from Scott Jedlinski yet of Modern Samurai Project, but I'm scheduled to take one in August. So it's tough. Some of these guys it's hard to get in a class for them.
Yep.
It's really difficult.
Yeah, Kent and I went down the list a couple of months ago, and we were having, hey, we got some time coming up. Summer's coming. Who do we want to go train with? We should go train together. Yeah. And we looked at Aaron, we looked at John, and we were like, Jesus, they're all sold out.
Yeah,
these guys are booked into the next century.
Yeah, and John Lovell, you don't even see his classes because you have to be into the Patreon group to even see the classes, and they sell out inside the Patreon group before they even go public. So
right. High
demand stuff, which is great. It's good. I'm glad people are getting firearms instructed. That's great. But yeah, that's one of the things that I'm a huge believer in firearms instruction. And while I am not a participant as often as I'd like to be, because time is tough when I'm gone a lot during the week to disappear for a weekend on top of that. But I'm really passionate about people getting firearms instruction. I think it's just like one of the best things for the Second Amendment.
So, P.S. When I have a student and I say, "Hey, who have you trained with?" and homeboy says, "Oh, just John Dufresne, Aaron Cowan, and John Lovell," I assume that dude's a lot better handgun shooter than he gives himself credit for, right? I'm always like, "Hey, who have you trained with?" And they're like, "Well, I trained with Jim Bob down there at the trailer park."
Yeah, he's NRA certified, and yeah.
You're over here like, "Nah, dude, I don't know. I'm not doing what I should be. I just trained with Jesus, the Pope, and fucking, come on, man."
Well, I mean, yeah, but like, but being self-aware is important. That I actually think that like the more you get like high quality firearms instruction, the more you're gonna realize you suck,
bro.
You are bad, and like you need to get your shit together. So
see this?
Yeah,
it's full of "I suck."
Yeah.
That's full of "I suck." That's all that
is. It's a humbling experience, but it's an important part of it. And it's the good news is that on the other side of those classes, you're like, man, like that was a great experience. I feel like I'm a better person. I'm a better shooter. And I would like to get more of that. I want more of that. And so firearms instruction is great. I highly recommend it. Go get instruction from someone who is reputable, and you're going to have a good experience. And you're going to be a better person. You're going to be a better American. You're going to be a better proponent of the Second Amendment. And, it's just all around a win for everyone.
That's awesome. Man.
I'm often reminiscent of a saying that was spoken to me during one of my last deployments. And that was, amateurs train to get it right. Professionals train until they can't get it wrong.
Yeah.
The key thing there is everybody is training at all times.
Right.
So yeah, and I'm gonna tell you right now, you're in for a treat when you get around to Modern Samurai Project. Kent and I
I'm excited.
Yeah, we were lucky enough to get to take his class together. Scott's a fantastic guy. As a matter of fact, to point out some evidentiary findings from your rewarding stellar performance, Scott was rewarding certain top performers with Blue Alpha Gear belts.
Yep.
Yeah, so I was really upset because every time he'd come up to one of those challenges, I'd choke. I'd be doing so good, and I'm like, I'm gonna get me a Blue Alpha Gear belt, and then I choke. Damn.
Yep. But yeah, it's good to hang a little carrot out there for people to make them, because So here's the thing with firearms training. It is not cheap.
No,
it is not cheap.
Ooh.
There's the cost of the class, there's the travel logistics, and there's the ammunition. And all three of those are not cheap. They add up, but it is worth it. Most people will not be able to afford to do it every week or even every month. But if you can get 2 or 3 in a year, you should be very proud of yourself. And if you can do more, that's awesome too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it is not cheap, but a worthy use of your money.
So I've personally been blessed to have hosted a lot of these guys, and that matter of fact, I've got Jedi. Speaking of competitors helping each other,
Right.
We've got the goddamn COVID coming, right? And my boy here local to me, who should be seen as my regional training competitor, is helping me with a range to reaccommodate Scott so we can make sure that we get this training done out here. You will meet some of the best human beings that you've ever met if you get into the gun training circuit and you take it seriously.
Yep.
And people are high quality. I say this about matches a lot too, but even more so in training, man. I mean, you show up and your shit breaks or something doesn't work or something, dudes are breaking their back to hand you $1,000 gun and freaking, you don't got ammo, shoot my ammo, something this, something that. It's incredible.
Just by nature of showing up to a firearms training class, you have gone above and beyond what 90% of the firearms world is willing to do.
Absolutely.
And so you've proved yourself, just by doing that, you've proved yourself worthy of being amongst those people.
Yeah. And I've yet to, I don't want to say there's never that guy, right? Because there's always that guy in every group, that whole don't be a dick thing, right? But it's been 6 or 8 classes since I've been at one where somebody was an actual dickhead.
Yeah.
And that was the instructor. So,
some of these guys are going to have zero tolerance for dickheads too. So I would not want to be, the dickhead. Like with some of these guys, I would not want to be the dickhead in their class.
Right. Can you imagine?
Don't be that guy.
Yeah. Especially someone like Aaron Cowan. You don't want to be the dickhead in his class. He will make you look stupid.
Yeah. Start telling John Dufresne, no, dude, that's not how you take a room.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't start. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't talk night vision or CQB trash with John.
The thing with Aaron Cowan, he is so articulate and eloquent in his speech. I'm afraid of what he would just say to me.
So I know Aaron pretty well. I will say that he does have a bit of an intimidating personality, and again, like I said, is not a guy you'd want to be a dick to, but he's really fun to be around, and he's legitimately a super funny person. I would highly recommend training with him.
That's awesome.
I wouldn't be. Don't be afraid of him. Don't be afraid of him. Just as long as you. Yeah.
I'm not afraid of anybody, but my self-esteem could take some damage points. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Every time I get a firearm out and try to shoot it accurately, my self-esteem takes damage points.
A little bit of me dies every time.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I love how. See, this is like just the instructor in me, but I love when dudes like self-deprecate all the time.
Yeah.
And then you take your boy, like your co-host of a podcast, and you take him to your buddy's training for the first time, and he hammers it out. He's like, "Nah, dude, I'm all right." It's like, that's my man right there. See, I keep my ginger in the trunk, and when some shit pops off, I just pop the trunk, and he goes out and handles it. It's great.
Yeah,
it works out awesome. So let's.
I had a good day.
Yeah,
I got lucky. I ate my Wheaties. I don't know.
Something. No, you put in the work, man, dudes. Nobody understands this. Like the amount of dry fire and time it takes to be in any way proficient with a handgun is fucking mind blowing to me.
Yeah, I'm always shocked that like when I'm shooting in the backyard and I switch from, I always start off shooting handgun and I switch to my rifle. And I'll be like, geez, this is like cheating.
Yeah, really.
Handguns are so hard, and then you switch to your rifle and you're like, oh, you just put the little red dot on the thing you want to hit and you can hit it. And it's
put this thing on the thing.
So much, it's so much less the case with handguns that it's frustrating.
No, it really is.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, there is case after case that demonstrates that even just dry fire can have such an improvement. So I'm reminded of the kid I want to say he's from Japan or China.
Yeah,
I want to say Japan, that had nothing but airsoft guns to practice with and was emulating the guys from T-Rex Arms, and they brought him over, put a real gun in his hand to demonstrate, and the kid could keep up with them.
Yeah.
So guys, I mean, if anything, that should just serve as proof that just because your range might be closed or anything, or the real live training might not be available to you, doesn't mean that you can't keep training and reap the benefits from that training.
Right. Yeah.
So
that's not fair, though, dude, because that kid's parents made him go up into the hills on a donkey, and he wasn't allowed to come back for 6 months unless he was proficient. They made a whole movie. What was it called? Karate Kid or something?
All that's coming to my mind is Kill Bill Volume 2.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I got a Mantis X recently, and I need to put more time on it. But the time that I've spent with the Mantis X has been, I'd say, relatively useful, but also pretty enjoyable. And I think it's probably the difference between putting in like 10 minutes of dry fire and putting in like 30 minutes of dry fire. Like,
right. Now it's a game.
You can gamify it a little more, and suddenly it's like, next time I'm gonna do it better. And I would recommend that for people who feel like they're trapped at home or can't get to a range. Take a look at Mantis X, and there's groups you can join where you can kind of compete with each other, or find a buddy who has one, and you guys can talk trash to each other and try to beat each other's score. So there's benefits.
All that's coming to mind is ways that dudes will like scam that, like when they have a competition with, all right, let's see who can get higher points on their Fitbit for like activity, and they go and hook it up to a paint shaker at Lowe's.
Yeah.
Like you got some dude like building an erector, like stealing his kid's erector set and like mechanizing it to like pull the perfect trigger pull every time.
Yeah. That's probably the thing that happens.
TJ, you see, the thing is, this takes one to know one, because that's some shit TJ would absolutely do. He would totally be doing that. But it's interesting. I just had a person ask me about the Mantis who's like, do I need a Mantis to be a better shooter? No, bro. Absolutely not.
No, there are plenty of good shooters that existed long before Mantis did.
But if the Mantis is going to motivate you, like if seeing that instantaneous feedback and that number, and trying to beat your better and being able to track it over time is going to be the thing that motivates you to do the work, then it's a means to an end.
Right.
It's not magic secret sauce. It's just making you do the work that you should have been doing in the first place.
Right. Like, so when I exercise, I would much rather go mountain biking than run on a treadmill. And it's kind of like both of them will get you cardio, but one of them you probably will enjoy the process a little more.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, we're coming up on that magic moment here where it's time for us to do sponsor reads and give you your opportunity to be the best capitalist you possibly can be. So take all the time you want and sell, like, do a phone bank for all I care. Sell as many belts as you can sell. And we're gonna say thank you for your time and get you out of here. So how do people find you? What do they do?
BlueAlphaGear.com is our website. At Blue Alpha Gear on Instagram, at Blue Alpha Gear on Facebook. I run the social media, so I'm the guy who responds to all the Instagram stuff, and I mean, I've talked about myself enough. But if you need a good belt, I think you'd like one of our belts. If not, we have free returns. I don't know. You guys figure it out. Is that really good salesman? Is that what you guys were talking about? Yeah. I think I nailed it, right?
100%.
Hey, you're the one that's expanded your business three or four times in the past 2.5 years. We'll follow your lead.
Self promotion is something I struggle with, but thankfully our customers do a lot of the promoting for us. So take their word for it.
Absolutely. Kent, what you got going on, man?
Let's see. Playing Jugglerooski to make sure classes happen like we said they were going to. So far, we only had to cancel stuff in April. Everything in May is operational business as usual. Stand by for announcements on range reaccommodations and stuff. But nobody's going to have to miss training in Pennsylvania yet, I hope. Those of you that had this coming weekend's class canceled, I'm very sorry. I'm not going to fight the governor. I don't know what else to say, but y'all got your refunds. No givesy backsies or wait for another class or whatever. You just got your straight refunds. So if you haven't seen that yet, check your credit card provider or whatever. You've been made whole. GreenMountainDefense.com/training. If you want to get out, private lessons are still kind of available during the COVID right now, as long as we can find a range to train on. If you're a member of a place, I'm a member, we can still get out together, but most ranges are closed to the public. So we'll just have to be creative and do what we can do. Thank you so much to anybody who's been willing to accommodate us on private land and all that kind of stuff. That's really awesome of everybody. So, get out, train, Green Mountain Defense, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. It's all me. I don't run the social media because I run the social media. I run the social media because I'm the only employee and I haven't expanded my business 4 times in the last 5 years. But here I am. So if by some terrible idea you'd like to talk to me, you can find me there. And let's see. If you don't have your med gear, get it. Our friend Kerry Davis over at Dark Angel Medical is on sale right now. We have a code, but he's doing better than our code is. He's got 20% off everything. So don't use our code. Just tell him you heard about it here in the notes. He's doing 20% off the whole place over at darkangelmedical.com. Let's see. Tim Kelly at Apache Solutions already sold out his vehicle defense class with Dave Spalding. So that's awesome. Good to see there. And let's see. We got T-shirts for sale. We got Subscribe Star. It's kind of like Patreon, but for freedom-loving gun people. So we went that way instead of the Patreon way. So check us out on Subscribe Star. You can get our links. And buy TJ's awesome knives. TJ, promote your knives. Sell knives. Do it.
I make knives from time to time.
Sell them. Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah. So these are being done. I've got half a dozen of these that I can do. The list is already filling up pretty quickly for those LPTs, or little pokey things as I'm calling them. Message me, hit me up on Instagram if you are interested. Tim Kelly with Apache Solutions was one of the first people to get one. So Tim, I hope you like it. I hope it's still holding up for you. If you got questions, let me know. Of course, we need to give a shout out to Right On Optics. Kent and I are both a pro staff member of Right On Optics, so I invite you guys to head on over to rightonoptics.com and check out everything that they have to offer, especially their new 2020 lineup. Everything that you might need for hunting, long-range precision shooting, or getting your tactical Timmy on, they can answer that call. As always, we appreciate you guys subscribing and participating with us in the active chat. We always appreciate your questions. If you by chance missed this podcast live on YouTube, you can always catch it on your favorite podcast player, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, this, that, and the other. You name it, we're probably there. If you have questions, by all means, feel free to leave them in the comments section down below or email us at slingandleadpodcast@gmail.com. Kent and I both monitor that email address, so if you have questions, we've got answers, at least sometimes. But Kurt, we truly appreciate having you on the show, man. It has been an absolute pleasure. We hope to have you back, maybe with some updates on how things are going when you expand into your next office in 6 months.
No.
And
Never.
But seriously, man,
to move again, I quit.
You don't get to.
Yeah.
But no, man, it truly has been a pleasure to have you. We've really enjoyed this time. You guys do make a great product. Kent and I will be singing your praises until the second coming. So you can rest assured with that. You guys just keep doing what you're doing, and we'll keep doing what we're doing.
Thank you.
But our fan will buy your belt. Our one fan.
The dozens of listeners.
Dozens and dozens. Hey, real quick, we forgot 2 things in our little read.
Oh, shoot.
So please check out the Shooting the Breeze podcast with our buddy Cam Hayes.
Of course.
You got to go do that. And also you got to check out Jedi's podcast, the MSP podcast. Actually, check out all these dudes like us that are putting out quality podcasts, because many of us are putting out more content right now during the COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So right now there's a lot of really good people giving away a lot of really good information for really free.
Mm-hmm.
And you should probably go support them in some way. If it's nothing more than just a like, favorite, share, or whatever, that's fine. But people have got their Subscribe Stars and their Patreons and or whatever. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, go find Chuck Pressburg and say thank you for teaching us everything there is to be taught about radios and night vision and whatever. Like, these dudes there's like master's level classes for free on the interwebs.
Mm-hmm.
So go find those guys, go support them. In Cam's case, long range shooting. In Scott's case, red dot shooting. But and jiu-jitsu and other cool shit. But yeah, man, drop a dime on this stuff. It doesn't hurt or cost you at all to subscribe to this stuff. And unfortunately, in our world, it is currency. It's digital currency for us to keep doing stuff like this. So
absolutely,
help all those people out, because there's a lot of good info out there.
Yeah, we might be able to overcome me forgetting a lot of this if we'd actually be semi-professional and do show notes. But
right here, man, I got you.
Yeah, that's why we do this together, buddy. I heart you. So, with that, folks, as always, we appreciate you all. We love you all. Until we see each other again, God bless you. Take care of each other and get out and shoot.